Beautiful day here in sunny Southern California. Look at this ocean. We're here at the San Clemente Pier. It's gorgeous. My name is Bill Orman. I'm the head harvester of the West Coast, and this is part of it.
And my name is Fred Haskett, and I'm the head harvester from the Mid Coast.
I'm Steve Caesar, head harvester for Human Resources, coast to coast.
Okay, now look at, we got Harvester Steve here, a specialist in human resources. And we're gonna drill you today, Harvester Steve. We got some good questions. And one question that comes up all the time, do I really need a handbook?
All the time. The answer is yes. It's really important to have a handbook, and I think to Bill's implied point, it's also important for us to have a current handbook. So when we're doing handbooks, keep in mind these are really defensive documents for the company to make sure it communicates everything to the employees in terms of best practices. It keeps the company legal in terms of compliance, and also demonstrates best practices to hold people accountable going forward. So I hear questions all the time. Sometimes the handbooks are too long. Can I just get one online? The handbooks are getting longer and longer because the employees are getting a little bit more demanding, and the lawyers are getting more and more greedy. Really, for the most part, handbooks are nowadays probably 60 to 65 pages long and pretty thorough in their content.
Really? They have to be that long? Can't you just do a short, simple version that everybody can understand?
Yeah. Can't we just do like a 10-page thing and have them sign it and be done with it?
I mean, you can do that. Again, the whole purpose for the handbook is to maximize the defensibility of the company for lawsuits, legal things, OSHA violations, and things like that. So you can get by with something smaller, but the smaller it is, the less content there is, the more exposure you have to risk involvement. Sure. Just really careful. I mean, Harvester Ed sent me one sometime back because I review a lot of handbooks for free, and he sent me one. It was 2 pages long, double spaced, okay? And we usually give academic grades to our handbooks. That one was like an F. I said, don't hand it out, don't give it to anybody, because there was nothing there to defend the company. So you can have shorter versions, but there's that trade-off between saving space and increasing the risk vulnerability.
So every state has a different process and needs and requirements and all that. Is that true?
For certain laws, I mean, they don't tell you how long the handbook has to be, but they're going to have certain laws on texting or seat belts or drug testing that have to be tailored for your particular state. So for example, I mean, some handbooks that you get online are just all vanilla. It's all based upon federal law, so it may not be tailored to Tennessee or New Jersey or California, for example. And if you don't have all those specific laws in place, you really open yourself up for a lot of liability. And it's worth it for us to do a 60-page handbook now than to do probably a 60 or 70-page deposition later.
Well, so you do this, what, like every 3 or 4 years?
No.
No? Huh?
No.
What?
Probably should revise it every January, because most state laws change every December or so. So you're changing the handbook every year, you're changing the employment posters every year in January, so it keeps everything pretty current.
We have to do this every year.
You don't have to, but to really maximize your protection, that would be my recommendation.
Because there's new laws and stuff going every
all
year.
the time,
right?
Yeah.
Especially here in California. Boy, don't we know that, right?
Every year, a lot of them. So that's what we recommend. You don't have to do any of those things, and certainly the owner has the discretion, but this is not one of those times to be economical. I mean, I just was telling Harvester Bill, a guy sent me a handbook one time, and I sent him a handbook back, and it was like 60 pages long, and he said, I want to make mine 30 pages long. It's your handbook, you can do whatever you want. He took out the EEO policy, and he took out the sexual harassment policy, because he said, don't worry, those are not problems where we work.
Ooh, what's EEO?
Equal employment opportunity, the non-discrimination. We don't discriminate against minorities or handicapped people or whatever. So he can take that stuff out if he wants, but he's putting his company at significant risk. So just be careful, everybody.
How do you make sure everybody reads it?
You can't really make sure that everybody does read it. Good question, though. All we're really worried about is that they sign the acknowledgement form at the back, verifying that they've read it and understand it. So we can't guarantee that they read it, but we have the sworn, the signed document that they did sign it and they did read it.
And this would be in the language of the person that works for you? So Filipino, Hawaiian, or...
Yeah, good question. The rule of thumb,
Spanish?
Yep, the rule of thumb is if 10% of your employees have a different mother tongue, whether it be Asian, Filipino, Spanish, or whatever, it should be translated. 10%. The rule
All
of thumb.
good stuff. Now here's what we're gonna do. Harvester Ed isn't here right now, but usually he offers up some free stuff. So on behalf of Harvester Ed, here's what we're gonna do. The first 5 people that respond to this session right now, Harvester Steve is going to review your handbook for free.
So you're telling that...
How do they respond?
They just click down below. The first 5 people that respond to this session this Friday, first 5 people, he's going to review it and give you a grade. How do you like that, Harvester Steve?
I'm doing free work again. It sounds like, that's a great deal.
And
I'm glad Harvester Ed's not here.
There you go. He would have given 10 or 20 or whatever. I would have gave 5, okay? Hey, this is Head Harvester Bill Arden from the West Coast.
This is Head Harvester Fred Haskett from the Mid Coast.
Steve Caesar, Head Harvester, coast to coast.
Now go out there and harvest your potential.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Harvester Ed,
Hey, you're not supposed to be 10 or 20 of those. Absolutely. I heard you talking about me.
I did,
Yeah, I'm not hearing you talking about me.
Where did he come from?
Yeah.